Salam keluarga Malaysia, hello and good evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm Shuhaida Arifin and you're watching News at 10. In our top stories tonight, Election Commission to meet on the 20th October. Dissolution of Parliament to prevent disharmony. The Election Commission will meet on 20th October to discuss the date of the 15th General Election GE15. In a statement, the EC Secretary Datuk Kemaruddin Ishak said the meeting will be chaired by EC Chairman Tan Sri Abdul Ghani Saleh and will focus on determining upcoming important dates. The meeting will discuss the date for nomination and polling days for 15th General Election as well as for the Bugaya by-election in Sabah. The meeting is scheduled to be held at 10 a.m. at Menara SPR in Putrajaya. A press conference will then be conducted following the conclusion of the meeting. With the announcement of Parliament dissolution by Prime Minister Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri Yaakob as stipulated under Article 55 Subsection 4 of the Federal Constitution, the GE15 must be held within 60 days from beginning yesterday. On another note, Datuk Kemaruddin said application to be observed for the 15th General Election is now open until 21st October. He added applications to be observers to represent any organisation would be subjected to the stipulated terms and conditions. Elaborating further, Datuk Kemaruddin said observers are allowed to observe the election processes such as the nomination process, campaigning, early voting, voting process, vote counting and vote tallying until the announcement of the election results. He advised those who are interested to submit their application before the application closing date. For more information and to download the form, those interested can visit the EC website as shown on the screen. Prime Minister Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri Yaakob reveals that the call to dissolve Parliament had to be made as Malaysia needed a strong and stable government in dealing with challenges ahead. Therefore, he said it is time to return the mandate to the people. He said the decision was also made based on the latest political development in the country where 12 cabinet ministers had acted inappropriately by sending a letter to the Yang di-Pertuan Agong pressing for the parliament not to be dissolved. He said this had created disharmony in the government administration. The Prime Minister also said there were cabinet ministers who had openly criticised the government's decisions and policies. In fact, a remark by Perikatan Nasional Chairman Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin, which declared that the main enemy of Perikatan was Barisan Nasional, had sowed division despite his party being a part of the present government. Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri said a government can only function well if its members work together in providing the best service to the people. Thus, the dissolution of Parliament was to silence voices that questioned the legitimacy of the government, claiming that it's a backdoor government. Sultan of Selangor Sultan Sharafuddin Idris Shah has consented to the state government not to dissolve the State Assembly in line with the dissolution of Parliament. Menteri Besar Datuk Seri Amiruddin Syahri said the state ruler gave his consent during an audience at Istana Bukit Kayangan Shah Alam this morning. Datuk Seri Amiruddin said during his audience with Sultan Sharafuddin, he had conveyed the state government's commitment and preparations to deal with possible floods in Selangor, economic recovery efforts, welfare assistance, as well as preparing the Selangor's 2023 budget, which would be tabled at the State Assembly. He said the Sultan also advised the state government to expedite whatever that needs to be done before dissolving the State Assembly. Datuk Seri Amiruddin said the decision to not dissolve the State Assembly was already discussed with the Sultan about 3 months ago and the indication of when the Assembly will be dissolved. In Perak, Menteri Besar Datuk Seri Sarani Muhammad will have an audience with the Sultan of Perak, Sultan Nazim Muizzuddin Shah, tomorrow to get His Highness' consent to dissolve the State Assembly. Speaking to the media after the Kerana District State Government's Meet the Clients Day program in Bagan Serai today, Datuk Seri Sarani said his audience with Sultan Nazim was scheduled at 2 p.m. at Istana Kinta, Ipoh.
Saya baru mendapat perkenan daripada Duli Yang Maha Mulia Paduka Si Sultan Perak untuk membolehkan saya menghadap baginda petang besok. Pagi besok kita ada corak esko seperti biasa. Dan petang, insyaAllah dalam pukul 2, saya diperkenankan untuk menghadap tuanku. Dan lepas tu boleh cakap lah.
Datuk Seri Sarani of Barisan Nasional was appointed to replace Datuk Seri Ahmad Faizal Azumu as the Menteri Besar following a political crisis in December 2020. The Perak State Assembly has 59 seats comprising BN, DAP, Parti Amanah Negara, Bersatu, PAS, PKR, PBM and Independent. In a related development, Polis Menteri Besar Datuk Seri Azlan Mand will propose the date and seek the consent of Raja of Polis Tuanku Syed Sirajuddin Putra Jamalul Lail to dissolve the State Legislative Assembly soon.
Saya akan mempersembahkan kepada Duli Yang Maha Mulia Tuanku Raja tarikh yang bersesuaian untuk dibuat pembubaran Dewan Undangan Negeri supaya kita dapat mengadakan pilihan raya negeri bersekali dengan pilihan raya umum di peringkat persekutuan, insyaAllah. Dalam masa yang terdekat, insyaAllah.
He said that the Special State Assembly sitting on Thursday will continue as scheduled to discuss the proposed amendment to the state constitution or the anti-party hopping enactment so as to be compatible with the amendment made to the federal constitution. He explained that the Special State Assembly sitting must be held to avoid legal disputes, and he also hoped that the amendment will be passed and enforced on all elected representatives in the GE15. Datuk Seri Azlan, who is the Perlis UMNO Liaison Chairman, also said that the list of UMNO candidates from the state had been submitted to the party leadership for consideration. Gerakan Tanah Air GTA founding chairman Tun Dr. Mahathir Mohamad today confirmed that he will be contesting in the upcoming 15 general elections to defend his Langkawi parliamentary seat. The former Prime Minister, however, said he will be contesting as people's representative and not as a Prime Minister candidate.
Kita tidak tentukan siapa yang akan jadi Perdana Menteri. Kerana calon untuk Perdana Menteri itu relevan kalau kita menang aja. Kalau kita kalah tak relevan. Kita akan bertanding dengan nama pejuang, dengan menggunakan simbol pejuang dan juga bendera pejuang.
Tun Dr. Mahathir added that GTA coalition will field over 120 candidates including in Sabah for GE15. He, who is also the chairman of Parti Pejuang Tanah Air Pejuang, said that the coalition will contest under Pejuang's ticket as GTA registration is yet to be approved by the Register of Societies ROS. GTA was established on 4th August comprising 4 parties, namely Pejuang, Berjasa, Putra and Parti Perikatan India Muslim Nasional IMAN, as well as being open to NGOs, individuals as well as Malay academicians and professionals. Coming up, Cyberjaya Hospital to be fully public facility. A construction site supervisor was charged in 2 magistrate courts in Kajang today on charges of kidnapping and killing his girlfriend, whose body was found in a ravine in Bukit Tekali, Hulu Langat. Lai Jailun, 27, nodded in understanding as soon as the 2 charges were read before Magistrate Muhammad Nur Firdaus Rusli and Shahrul Sazli Matsain. No plea was recorded by the accused as the 2 cases are under the jurisdiction of the High Court. The man is alleged to have detained Ho Mei Ling, 27, for a ransom of 40,000 ringgit. He was charged according to Section 3 of the Kidnapping Act 1961, which provides for the death penalty or life imprisonment or whipping upon conviction. Lai is also accused of killing Ho according to Section 302 of the Penal Code, which carries the death penalty if convicted. Both courts set 17 November for case remention. The Cyberjaya Hospital will operate fully as a public hospital under the Ministry of Health, with a new health clinic also open at the hospital to meet the demand for healthcare services. Health Minister Khairi Jamaluddin said this would be implemented in phases from 11 November with the provision of 14 specialists and healthcare services. In a statement today, Khairi said the specialists and healthcare services offered, including emergency services, general medicine, general surgery, obstetrics and gynecology, pediatrics, orthopedics, psychiatry and mental health, as well as dentistry. In the initial phase of the operation, Khairi said the hospital would have 6 specialist departments, namely emergency, medical, surgical, anesthesiology, pediatric, as well as obstetrics and gynecology. Khairi also said that he was aware of the urgent need of a new health clinic in the Sepang district to ease congestion at the Dengkil Health Clinic. As such, he said part of the Cyberjaya Hospital will be open and operate as the Cyberjaya Health Clinic for outpatient treatment from 1st November. Work to build the 9-storey Cyberjaya Hospital on a 5.2-hectare site began on 15 August 2017 and it was handed over to the Health Ministry on 15 June 2021. The hospital will have 288 beds, an emergency block and 1,006 parking bays, including 790 in the multi-storey car park. 125 officers and personnel of the Special Malaysia Disaster Assistance and Rescue Team SMART are ready to be mobilised to floods location at any time given. According to his Deputy Director General Mio Ismail Mio Akim, SMART is prepared to handle any disaster situations and any possibilities.
Mengikut keperluan. Sebab mereka ni kira macam orang kata lebih advance daripada yang lain. Jika ada keperluan-keperluan yang lebih kritikal, ya, dari segi tempat yang lebih sukar, ini adalah kelebihan mereka. Mereka ni semua boleh dikerahkan, tiada masalah. Mereka juga boleh, macam saya cakap tadi, mereka juga boleh bertugas di air, mereka boleh dalam gelap, gua dan sebagainya. Sebab mereka dilatih untuk bangunan, bencana bukan banjir je.
The SMART team was established on 1st August 1995 under the National Security Council Directive No. 19 and was placed under NATMA in 2015. The elite team is equipped with modern and sophisticated equipment, including 10 wheel-drive vehicles, 10 lorries, 10 boats, 6 all-terrain vehicles ATV, 4 vans, 2 bulldozers and 2 scrambler motorcycles. The Prisons Department Malaysia is targeting 2/3 of eligible inmates to undergo rehabilitation in the community by 2030 to reduce overcrowding in prisons. Its Director General Datuk Nordin Mohamad said initiatives implemented since 2008 such as the parole system, compulsory attendance order, resident reintegration program, licensed prisoner release and several other programs can reduce overcrowding in prisons across the country. When met after the launch of the Amended Offenders Compulsory Attendance Act 2022 at the department headquarters today, he said the implementation of the new amendment bill will give the courts more alternatives to impose community rehabilitation for the detainees.
Kita amat bersyukur dengan pindaan kepada Akta Kehadiran Wajib 2022 ini. Kita jangka akan memberi lebih banyak lagi peluang kepada pesalah bagi hukuman ringan iaitu hukuman 3 tahun dan ke bawah menjalani hukuman di luar tembok penjara, dan kami yakin dengan adanya peluang ini akan dapat melindungi lagi masyarakat kita daripada menjadi mangsa kepada penjenayah berulang, sebab sebagaimana yang saya telah maklumkan tadi, kejayaan pemulihan dalam komuniti dari segi kadar residivisnya hanya 0.38%.
He said, based on the department's statistics, there are 82,539 prison inmates, and of that number, 76,336 are inmates in prison, while 6,203 are placed in a community rehabilitation program. He added that currently, prisons nationwide can only house about 66,000 inmates, so there's overcrowding of about 10,000 inmates. The unemployment rate in Malaysia remained at 3.7% in August 2022 compared to the previous month. The Department of Statistics Malaysia DOSM in a statement said the number, however, recorded a drop of 1.4% to 612,000 people in August compared to 620,700 people in July. On labour force, the department said it recorded 16.63 million in August compared to 16.60 million in the month before, while for the working population, it was 16.02 million people in August from 15.98 million people in July. The largest composition of the working population was made up from the employee category at 76%, followed by self-employed 17.5%, employers 3.4%, and unpaid family workers 3.1%. Meanwhile, the number of active unemployed recorded in August decreased by 2%, from 517,400 to 507,300. The outside labour force, which are referring to people who are not classified as working or unemployed, such as housewives, students, retirees, individuals who are not interested in looking for jobs, recorded a decrease of 0.1% to 7.24 million people in August, with the largest composition being housework or family responsibilities at 42.9%. Japan reopened its door to tourists as COVID curbs lifted. That and more coming up in our foreign segment. Malaysia joins the international community in expressing concerns over the missed opportunity to renew the United Nations brokered ceasefire in Yemen following its expiry on 2nd October. Closely following the developments in the country, Foreign Ministry said Malaysia strongly believes the immediate resumption of negotiation between the concerned parties is crucial towards reaching an inclusive and negotiated political settlement in Yemen. In a statement today, Wisma Putra said Malaysia is pleased to note that the UN-brokered ceasefire deal since 2nd April has resulted in improved humanitarian conditions and reducing civilian casualties in the country. In this regard, Malaysia urges all parties to continue giving importance to resolving the conflict amicably through dialogue without any precondition and in good faith for the well-being and benefit of the Yemeni people. Malaysia expresses its full support to the efforts by the UN and other like-minded countries in finding a long-lasting solution to end the conflict in Yemen. Yemen has been engulfed by violence and instability since 2014, when Iranian-aligned Houthi rebels captured much of the country, including Sana'a. Japan has reopened its door to tourists today after 2.5 years of tough COVID restrictions, with officials hoping an influx of travellers enticed by a weak yen will boost the economy. By mid-morning, tourists from Israel, France and Britain were already pouring in. From today, visa-free entry resumed for travellers from 68 countries and territories. Japan is also lifting a cap on the number of arrivals and ending the package tour requirement. Some rules remain, with tourists required to present either proof of vaccination or a negative coronavirus test taken 3 days before departure.
To come to Japan for a long time. It's been kind of on our bucket list of places to see for a long time, and then my job changing and Japan reopening meant it was a perfect opportunity for us to do that, and so we spent last week planning, and then the reopening meant it was perfect.
C'est le hasard. Parce qu'on a acheté plusieurs depuis longtemps, depuis 2 ans, et chaque fois on a dû reporter. Et là, ça tombe le bon jour.
Yes, Japan has been closed for a very long time, and I was waiting all this time since it was closed to come in and experience Japan. It was very long, but I'm very glad I'm here.
Japan received a record 31.9 million foreign visitors in 2019, but that plummeted to just 250,000 in 2021. Before the pandemic, travellers from Hong Kong and China made up 37% of all foreign visitors to Japan and 44% of tourism income. Devastated families in Thailand gathered for the cremation of their loved ones killed in a nursery massacre that claimed 36 lives, including 24 children. At Wat Rat Samaki Temple in Naklang, chanting monks began the ceremony as the exhausted and grieving close-knit rural community prepared to say a final goodbye to 19 of those killed. The funerals, sponsored by the royal household, and 3 days of rites that began Saturday. Today's mass ceremony is highly unusual. Bodies are normally cremated alone, but the area's small local temples have been overwhelmed by the number of victims. Other victims of the attack, perpetrated by a former police officer who went on to kill his wife and her child before taking his own life, will be cremated at other temples in the area. Coming up in sports, Russian cyclist Gleb stormed to Stage 1 win in LTDL 2022. Russian cyclist Gleb powered his way to victory in Stage 1 of the Le Tour de Langkawi LTDL 2022 today. The 22-year-old Astana, Kazakhstan team rider completed the 157.3-kilometre journey from Kuala Pilah Negeri Sembilan to the Petronas Twin Tower KLCC Kuala Lumpur in 3 hours, 43 minutes and 33 seconds. Uno X Pro Cycling Team rider Arian Blikra and Terengganu Polygon Cycling Teams TSG Jambal Jamb Sangbaya came in 4 seconds behind to finish second and third respectively. The win sees Gleb donning 2 jerseys, the yellow jersey as the overall leader and the green jersey as the sprint king. The red jersey for King of the Mountain and white jersey for leading Asian rider belong to Mongolian Jambal Jumps. Tomorrow's 178.9-kilometre Stage 2 from Kuala Kelawang to Raub, which is the longest route in this year's edition, will have 3 sprint zones in Simpang Durian, Karak and Mempaga and 2 climb zones in Petasih and Bukit Damar. Meanwhile, the organizer of LTDL 2022, Human Voyage, has taken various precautionary measures should the 8-stage race confront the possibility of floods over the next 7 days. Human Voyage Chief Operating Officer COO Shahazrin Abdul Hamid said they have made plans to avoid such hitches as LTDL starts today. He said they have taken steps to avoid a flood-prone route in all the stages, with most of the routes are on the west coast. They also have monitoring squads to check the route, adding should there be any occurrences of landslide or fallen tree, they will quickly take contingency actions or change the route to ensure the race proceeds smoothly. In this regard, Shahazrin said the dissolution of Parliament yesterday did not affect the 26th edition of the race. The Malaysian Athletics Federation MAF and Malaysia Swimming MS have been told to buck up and improve their performances at next year's Cambodia SEA Games. Olympic Council of Malaysia OCM Selection Committee Chairman Tan Sri Muhammad Nurza Zakaria said the two sports, despite having the most numbers of events offering gold medals, performed poorly, and this resulted in the national contingent finishing a lowly 6th with a haul of 39 golds, 45 silvers and 90 bronze at the Hanoi SEA Games in May.
These two associations has to take the necessary measures to ensure that we will have an improved performance. Otherwise, they need to justify to us in terms of what is the plan moving forward. Realistically, I will say that there is chance for athletic to improve the medal tally. But at the moment, I don't see any light at the end of the tunnel, so to speak, as far as swimming is concerned. So swimming has to put out a proper, blueprint or action, so that we'll be able to prepare ourselves better in the next SEA Games, which is going to be in Thailand.
Tan Sri Muhammad Norza said this after chairing the selection committee meeting at Wisma OCM today. At the Cambodia Games, athletics and swimming will again be crucial to Malaysia's hopes of rising up the medal standings, as there will be 47 and 39 gold medals up for grabs in these two sports respectively from the overall total of 608 events in 37 sports. The national under-16 squad hopes to undergo a training camp in the Middle East or Japan ahead of the 2023 Under-17 Asian Cup Finals campaign. Head coach Asmira Omar said that apart from giving exposure, he also planned to hold friendly matches with strong teams from West Asia or Japan in an effort to put up a tough fight at the prestigious Asian Youth Football Competition.
Untuk tim ni, walaupun cemerlang, yang kita nampak sekarang cemerlang, tetapi sebenarnya daripada pada pandangan saya masih banyak lagi aspek kita perlu baiki. So salah satu cara yang terbaik adalah game-game pendedahan di menentang tim-tim yang lebih kuat. Mungkin kita kena buat camp di Timur Tengah, di Jepun. So dapatkan lagi pemain-pemain ni game-game yang intensity dia sama seperti di competition yang baru-baru ni.
He was met on returning from Indonesia with the national players at the Kuala Lumpur International Airport. Malaysia qualified for the Under-17 Asian Cup Finals after topping Group B with 10 points. This will be Malaysia's sixth appearance in the Under-17 Asian Cup Finals. Their best finish was in 2014 when they reached the quarterfinals before losing 2-1 to Australia. Real Madrid will focus on sealing a place in the Champions League knockout stage with a win against Shakhtar Donetsk in Warsaw early tomorrow, and striker Karim Benzema will be back in the team to help. Real Madrid are top of Group F on a maximum 9 points from 3 games, and a win against second-place Shakhtar would take them into the knockout phase.
No, creo que calificarse en la fase de grupo es el primer objetivo de la temporada, porque llega muy pronto, muy rápido, y antes lo hacemos, mejor es. He dicho esto, claramente sobre el perfil mental, esto te puede dar más energía para la competición nacional, pero tenemos que tener en cuenta que el Real Madrid en la Champions no puede pensar que de no jugar un partido serio.
While Ancelotti said he may rest forward Vinicius Jr., who scored in their 2-1 win over Shakhtar in Madrid and has played a lot recently, Benzema will return after being given a rest in a 1-0 win at Getafe on Saturday in La Liga. In Warsaw, where Shakhtar are hosting their Champions League matches, due to the war in Ukraine, Real will still be without first-choice goalkeeper Thibaut Courtois, so Ukraine's Andriy Lunin will continue to deputise. Meanwhile, Paris Saint-Germain's Lionel Messi will miss this week's home Champions League game with Benfica due to injury. The 35-year-old Argentine superstar suffered a slight calf issue in last week's 1-1 draw in Portugal and missed Saturday's draw at Reims in Ligue 1. PSG will also be without defenders Presnel Kimpembe and Nuno Mendes, as well as midfielder Renato Sanchez for tomorrow's game in the French capital. They sit top of Group H ahead of Benfica, two-time European Cup winners, on goals scored in the group stages. Alright, so that concludes this evening's news at 10. In our top story, Election Commission to meet on 20th October set date for GE15. Join us again at 12:30 tomorrow afternoon. I'm Shuhaida Arifin. Stay tuned to Saluran Berita RTM. Salam keluarga Malaysia and have a pleasant evening.